I've tested out a handful of comps for the Hellcat Pro over the last couple of years. Today I've got the Rook Precision comp mounted to the Hellcat Pro, and I got a sneaky suspicion this is going to do really well. Not only is this one of the best looking comps that's out there for this gun, but I've tested other comps from Rook and they've worked out extremely well. I don't think that this one's going to disappoint, but we're going to put some rounds down range and then we'll go ahead and talk about it. I am using stock spring in here as well as 115 grain AAC ammo. So let's go ahead and get it. All right, first shots through the Rook Precision comp. Looks pretty good on there. Here we go. Don't let the sun fool you. It's like 30 degrees out this morning. I haven't shot this particular grip in quite a while, so I'm going to go ahead and change this over to my other grip that has the, what is that, the Hogue rubber grip on it, and we're going to give it a couple of rounds through there. That's better. I really do like this Hogue grip combined with the Floyds custom magwell. It's a whole different level of mechanical advantage over this firearm. So here it is. This is the Rook Precision compensator for the Hellcat Pro. It's been a pretty good day today. I brought 500 rounds with me. I have, I think, 3 rounds left in the ammo can, so put quite a few downrange today. Things have went well. One of the things that people are concerned with when it comes to putting a comp on their gun is reliability. I am running the stock guide rod and spring in this particular slide. So with that 500 rounds that I put through it, there were no malfunctions that were related to the comp itself. I had a couple of light primer strikes, and this gun has the M-Carbo titanium striker in there. I think that might be from that. Can't really say, but that's my best guess at this point. As far as your typical failure to feed or whatever, I haven't had any problems like that with this comp. So if you're looking for a comp that you're going to be able to just put on your gun and use without any changes in spring weights, this is the one for you. Now recently I did test the Rook Precision comp for the Springfield Echelon. That one worked out well. I actually think that this works just a little bit better. And honestly, as far as the design, I think that it looks fantastic. Everything about it kind of matches the look of the Hellcat Pro, which I really appreciate. Over the years, I've tested a handful of different comps with this gun. I started out, I did a couple of, cheap eBay comps. Those did not work out very well at all. I tested the Strike Industries quad comp, and that one worked pretty good. My problem with that is that it stuck out past the end of the slide a little bit. It looked kind of weird. It didn't match the look of the gun at all. Then a couple of weeks ago, I came out here and there was a guy who had the Springfield RDP comp on his Hellcat Pro. He went ahead and let me put a couple of mags through that. I wasn't really impressed with the performance of that comp. I know that it is relatively cheap through Springfield, but honestly, I wasn't impressed. Last weekend when I came out here, there was the same guy and he had the Harrington Arms comp. I actually kind of like the Harrington Arms. It performed pretty well, but as far as the performance goes, this one is neck and neck. I'd say it beats the Harrington Arms by just a little bit. I wasn't able to use the Mantis to measure recoil with it. You know, like I said, I was just out here putting some rounds down range and I got to shoot his gun with it. But I do feel like this works just a little bit better. Now, Rook Precision's design is kind of cool. It is a 3-port comp. You have one slightly wide porthole in the top, and then you have 2 on the sides, 1 on each side there. What's really cool though is the way that they cut it so that it matches up to the slide and kind of fits over the end of the slide almost seamlessly. Then of course they added the same style of serrations to the comp that the Hellcat Pro has from the factory. Of course, this one's been ported by Floyd's Custom Shop. I don't have a stock slide to put this on to show you, but it does match the look extremely well. Now, I know look doesn't really matter, but sometimes it does matter. I started out the day testing this comp on another one of my Hellcat Pro frames. That one is just stock. It does have a Floyd's Custom Shop magwell, but there's no like Talon grip on it. This one, of course, has the Hogue beaver tail grip. I was having a hell of a time with that other frame. A lot of you know that I have suffered with carpal tunnel for a long time, and my day job is in a body shop. I do a lot of work with my hands, and because of the work that I do and the carpal tunnel, I struggle with grip strength. This is something that I've went through for a long time, and you know, technique is everything, but there are days where I just don't have any strength in my hands whatsoever, and that's kind of how I'm feeling today. It also doesn't help that when I got up here this morning and I started shooting, it was like just over 30 degrees, so my hands are frozen. They ache from working all week. It was a tough week. Carpal tunnel's like sort of flaring up, but not too terribly bad. I did notice with the other frame, I was having a really hard time controlling it, so I did go ahead, pull the slide off, and put it on this one. Now, I've talked about this beaver tail grip from Hogue multiple times in the past. This gives me kind of the best grip out of anything that I've tried. It fills my hand a lot better, and with these finger grooves, I'm able to really kind of get better leverage over it. Regardless of whether I'm using a stock barrel, a ported barrel, or a comp like this, I definitely have more control over this gun with this Hogue beaver tail grip than anything else. Now, I haven't reviewed any of the footage yet. I just got done shooting 500 rounds, and now I came over here to a shady spot where I'm not completely blown out from the sun, and I feel like as soon as I took the slide off of that other frame and put it onto this one with the superior grip, I immediately felt a difference in the actual muzzle rise of the gun. A lot of the double taps that I was doing today on the steel target, the dot didn't really seem to move too terribly much as compared to what it would with a stock barrel. I'm actually really impressed with how this thing performed. Now, one of the drawbacks to putting a comp on a gun like this is that you are adding a little bit of length and a little bit of weight to the front end. And I find when using a comp that a lot of times I get some bounce to it. I feel like that extra length and weight tends to make the muzzle want to dip a little bit more than it would if it was just a stock gun. Now, of course, I just put 500 rounds downrange today. I think that's something that anybody can really train past. You just have to use that gun regularly and learn how it performs with the comp on it versus how it performs without one. That's no big deal. It's just a training thing. Anybody can get around that. Something I did have a little bit of a hard time with last night while I was getting everything together to come out here and film today, I tested all of my holsters. I found that in order to carry this gun with this comp, what I'm going to have to do is take one of my holsters. I'm going to have to hit it with a heat gun a little bit to warm it up, soften it up, and run this in and out of the holster to kind of reform it a little bit. My main holster that I use, there is just a little bit of hang up about 3/4 of the way through it. It's not such a big deal when holstering, but when actually drawing, it really wants to catch up a little bit. So if you're going to use a comp like this, just keep in mind you may have to modify your holster a little bit. Mine, of course, there is just a little bit of the comp that sticks out of the end of the holster. I don't necessarily think that's a big deal. If you use this to the point that you get it hot, it's not like you're going to be reholstering it right away. You're probably not going to burn yourself. Most of the time you're going to be using this at the range, and if it warms up, it warms up. It's no big deal. Set it off to the side and just let it kind of cool down. Modifying your holster to be able to easily use a comp with it, it's not really that hard. Just be patient and don't overheat it. A little bit at a time is better than overdoing it and ruining the holster. So this comp is going to work with the stock Springfield threaded barrel. I believe their website says they've also tested it on the True Precision barrel, and that works as well. What I have, of course, is an Apex barrel, and it works just fine. It screws on just to that point where you need to be for it to be, flush with the end of the slide. So no worries there. All in all, I gotta say, Rook Precision, it is a relatively new company, but the products that they are producing and putting out are really top notch. I can't say enough good stuff about their comps. So far, everything that they have sent me to check out has worked out extremely well. Rook did send me this comp. I didn't order it myself. I'm not being paid for this review. And if I found any problems with it, you guys should know by now, I would definitely point that out and be brutally honest with it, because that's what I do. But this comp, so far, out of everything that I've tested with this gun, this one's my favorite. I actually like this comp so much that I'm considering buying yet another Hellcat Pro so that I can have a stock slide that hasn't been cut and add the comp to it so that I don't have the portholes on the side, and everything will just kind of blend together really well. As far as attachment goes, the comp has 2 set screws right here on either side that kind of come in at a little bit of an angle. Once you screw that on, you can go ahead and tighten those down with some Loctite, of course. Let it sit for 24 hours before you try shooting it, and it's going to stay where it needs to stay. This thing is basically self-indexing because of the way that it's cut to where it comes up over the edge of the slide. Once you get it on all the way, there is no kind of rotation side to side with it. It's just going to sit squared up with the slide exactly where it needs to be. So look, some people like stock guns. Some people prefer ported guns. Some people prefer a comp on their gun. If you are that person who wants to put a comp on your Hellcat Pro, I can tell you right now, this one from Rook Precision is probably going to be the best looking and best performing comp that's out there for you. That's really all I've got today. It's been extremely productive. I've really enjoyed my time out here shooting the Hellcat Pro with the Rook Precision comp. Go check them out. I'm gonna head home, relax a little bit. It's Sunday. I gotta go back to work tomorrow. So you guys stay safe out there, and I'll see you back here real soon.